Now, I want you to discover this watch in different shades, tones, and this is amazing. I've never seen anything comparable before. Welcome back to WatchAdvisor on YouTube. World or watches are the stars. Today my star is Guido Terreni, CEO of Parmigiani. Welcome, Guido.
Hello, Alex. Welcome to Fleurier.
Guido and me decided to explain a little bit the setup today in the garden. We are in Fleurier in the Val de Travers. This is where Parmigiani has its headquarters. And when I met Guido in Geneva and he showed me his new watches, I spontaneously said, Guido, I don't think that we're going to film these watches with the light conditions we have in Geneva. It's mostly one light condition, artificial light. This collection needs light to play with, so the light reflects the colors of the dies, etc., etc. And I said, we need perfect light. We have the perfect conditions today. Blue skies, the sun is out. We're filming outside, and this is now the place where we are going to present the Parmigiani novelties. I saw them in bright light, and I have to say it was a good decision. And I'm looking forward for this video because it will really give you guys the possibility to see how Guido is conceiving his watches and what you then, when you buy the watch, you should see on your wrist. So don't skip it, and you will see the excellence of colors you're playing with. You call it private luxury.
Yes.
Let's go, Guido. I'm curious to discover your Parmigiani Novelties 2025.
Don't forget to subscribe and to hit the bell to get our latest notifications.
Thank you for being in Fleurier. It's the first time we do something in the garden.
This is beautiful.
This is my office is just there, and Michel lives behind this farm that is in front of us. So it's a special interview that we're having today. You spoke about what we're doing. I'm leading my teams and the brand towards an expression of luxury which is not loud, which is private, which is deep, and which is subtle. And when you have subtleness in your brand proposition, there are always things that have to be thought, because they're not immediate, they're not in your face. It's something in between the lines. And this year probably was more clear to the public. I felt this in Watches and Wonders from everyone, that the palette of colors that we have developed in these years has become understood, because we're playing with colors that are very specific, very distinctive, but not bright, not loud, not strong. They have always a complexity in them because the colors are made by complex mixture of colors, and that's why they reflect the light in different ways. The first one was the Sienna of last year. You remember the micro rotor in golden Sienna, that under the light of a blue sky you would see more of a salmon tone, and if you were more in the shade it would go more on the beige. Then you had the celadon gray on the Toric that we filmed last year with the beautiful video on all the menswear that we were doing. And now we have added the Verzasca on the GMT, which was our first world premiere that we did in 2022. And this year is the first year that we do a new color on that. And then we move on to even materials. And the Ultra-Cermet is probably the first time that we play with a material which is not conventional.
Called Cermet.
We call it Ultra-Cermet because Cermet is a composite. Cermet is
ceramic and metallic.
Ceramic and metal. Yeah. Cerametal is shortened in Cermet. But as everything has different qualities and different characteristics, this is a patent, it's a Cermet that in the composition doesn't exist in the market because the percentage of titanium and the mix of the components that are in create a color which is very metallic, more gray than anthracite, so it reflects the light in a very, very powerful way. And this is what makes it luxury, because usually ceramic absorbs the light very strongly, so the reflection of the light is very homogeneous. While playing with brush polished surfaces that are decorated in different ways, you have this unscratchable material that is returning you a sensation of luxury, which is to me fantastic. Mm-hmm. The mirror reflection, when it's mirror polished, it absorbs the surrounding. So if you're wearing a blue suit, you would see it. If you're wearing under a blue sky, you would see a different light. If you're in the shade on a cloudy side.
It's a little bit of a chameleon.
It's interesting because you have an interaction with the ambient in which you live. Yeah. And the fact that we're outside will enhance this because watches live on people in the environment in which people are. You can be in an office with a white light, you have a certain effect. You can be in the beach at the sea, you have a totally different perception. Watchmaking has always been about the details, about dark lights, shooting watches in a dark room to make the finishing comes out. This is a beautiful technique to highlight the craft that you have. But you don't live in a dark room. You live your life.
Hopefully not.
Exactly. You live your life,
Hopefully
and that's where the watches live. So playing with the light, playing with the ambient is something that we like to do, whether it's on the color of the dial, whether it's on the material of the case.
And of course, everyone who buys a Parmigiani watch has the chance then later on when he's wearing the watch to always discover a new
Detail. Yeah.
detail
Yes,
or a
it's
new color, a
an
new
emotion.
reflection, and
Yes.
it's an ongoing pleasure that
Yeah.
never stops end of the day,
Exactly.
because you will probably never have all days the same exact light coming. Summer it's different, in autumn it's different, in spring it's different, then you have different.
We see because of the light. The material in se is not visible. You see it because the material is lit with the light. So the light and the surface together generate the emotion that you will enjoy.
Let's jump into it.
The first watch that I'm going to show you is the GMT Rattrapante. You know, the GMT Rattrapante was a very important step for Parmigiani relaunch. It is the first time that we interpret GMT in a way that nobody else had done before. So it's a dual timer that you move your traveler time, and then the innovation is the Rattrapante function applied to an hour hand. Since 1827, I think, is the patent of the split second on a chronograph. Until 2022, nobody ever thought of using that function outside of a chronograph, and we applied it on a GMT. This gives you a flawless experience when you're traveling, but it also allows you to be discreet when you're not traveling, so it's a different experience. We found this color, which we call the Verzasca. Verzasca is a valley in Ticino, where you have a beautiful river, very natural. It's a hidden place, it's not glamorous, just people, when it's hot, they go and they have these beautiful swimming pools that are natural in the river, and the water is between green and blue. So when I saw this color, it reminded me of that place. It's this green.
Verzasca.
Verzasca is a valley. And this color is so peculiar. It has some blue in it, it has some green in it. It matches with your outfit very easily, but it's very unique. It's difficult to find something that is not conventional in a color and have it transposed in everyday life, because when you wear a watch, unless you're a collector, you don't decide every day what watch you're going to make. You use a watch for a certain period of time, the average person. So you don't think how you dress because you have a green dial or a blue dial. It has to fit your outfit and every day of the week, and this is what we came out with.
Is it limited production
No,
you're doing?
no.
It is also going to stay in the collections.
It's going to stay in the collection. It's just two watches that we have in steel on the GMT, so it's a very short collection.
Okay,
We have the Blue Milano, which is the first one, and then we have
not
this.
not limited. Okay.
Not limited.
You don't have to be scared if you are still thinking or making your decision. Take your time.
Obviously, we don't produce thousands, so
Yeah.
it's limited by the fact that we are an independent brand. This was the first example of how we like to play with complications. Now, because if you want, it's a way of simplifying the complication. The complication there doesn't exist until you need it, until you use it. And this is an innovation that you see also in the Minute Rattrapante that was a year after the second world premiere. But you see also in the philosophy of addressing the readability of a complication. This year, for the other very big novelty that we introduced is the Toric perpetual calendar. Usually perpetual calendars are very busy in the dials. Now they have a lot of information that they have to display, 3, 4 counters, busy things. In our way of interpreting, we wanted a very pure approach to this complication, because what you always have to see in a watch is hour and minute hand. That is what you're looking for every time you look at the watch. At a second degree of level, you have the rest of the information, because on the perpetual calendar, this is being condensed in 2 counters. So if you unite the counters with the log, you will see a perfect triangle. And this tells you that we are filling the space, which is open, which is, you once said, you make the time breathe, no? Because you give a lot of space on the dial. This is what we're trying to do in order to give a perfect readability to the function, and you have the coaxial information on the 2 counters that are slightly lower than the horizon of 3 and 9 o'clock to give you a balance of the space, because if they were at 9 and 3 o'clock, you would feel an empty space.
You read the date, you read the day, you read the month and the leap year.
Very simply.
It's everything you need on a perpetual calendar.
Of course, the choice of the elements and the finishing of Toric remain superlative. We talked a lot of that last year in the beautiful interview that we did together that I really treasure, where we play with the colors, we play with the finishings, we play with the straps. Now we play with every element in a very sartorial way.
How do you call this?
This is a morning blue.
Morning blue.
Morning blue, you have the energy of
the early
morning.
birds.
Yes, because in the morning you have a light which is not hot, but it's not powerful.
Crisp, fresh
but
air.
it has a lot of energy. No?
Yeah,
It have
crisp,
yes.
fresh. Yeah.
And
morning blue.
on the platinum, you have it. And on the gold, you have golden hour, which is more the sunset. No, it's more on the...
So you need both.
Well, it depends. Some collectors are having both.
And when do you switch? At noon?
I don't know. Noon, you probably need a micro rotor.
And we should not forget to also mention, of course, this incredible movement that powers the perpetual calendar made out of gold.
Full gold, solid gold, with the two barrels that give you that
Minimalistic.
quality
It's a
of the
minimalistic look, but it is simply beautiful.
with the Côte de Fleurier, this cross the Côte de Genève.
Also here, you need light to play with it.
Of course.
Depending on the angle of the light that comes on it, the decoration reflects the light a little bit differently and it looks different. So, morning blue.
Morning blue, golden hour.
Golden hour.
This is always done by hand, gold dials with the brushing by hand to get the grenema as a finishing, where the finishing has to be matte, as sort of light, and then you have the details of the outlines that are the gold that comes out from taking away the color that you deposited on the outlines, and this gives you the contrast between the gold and the colors.
And the readability, by the way, normally when you have a dial that is completely golden color, you mostly read nothing, but here it's amazing how the polished hands reflect the light in contrast to the matte surface of the dial itself, and then the readability really gets excellent again.
And again, the hands are slightly curved because of that reason. If they were flat, you would see them sometimes dark because the reflection would be full. And here you have the groove shape, but it's not sharp. You don't have that strong line in the middle because it would be too hard. So these are all finesses and details, obviously with the big crown to wind the watch with that pleasure of the manual watch.
This is also something I very much miss on other watches. Hand-wound watches need a little bit of a bigger crown.
Yes,
you want
because
the
you want
haptic.
to feel the movement.
Yeah, the moment, It should be enjoyable, the moment when you wind your watch.
Absolutely. These were the topics on the complication side. So now we will go into the chrono world. And I will start with the Chrono PF, which is the most elegant chronograph that we have. This has been resized at 40 mm. So from 42, we went down to 40. And we have taken out the date. This also by comments that we received on social media from our collectors. And I think that taking out the date on the PF enhances the balance, the purity of the dial. And then we have another tone of blue. It has some little bit of gray inside. We call that mineral blue.
Morning blue?
Morning blue.
Mineral blue.
Milano blue. You have different names for different
I already
colors.
forgot, what was this?
Verzasca.
Verzasca, morning blue,
golden hour,
and mineral blues.
2 millimeters less make a big difference in the comfort, in the mood of the watch. We're very happy with the result of that.
So are the actual reactions on the watch the one you expected?
The Verzasca and the chronograph are already on the market since the end of April, and the first month of sellout was very promising for both of them.
It's a beautiful color, anyway.
Very, very classic if you want, but with the PF touch on the finishings. Then it's a 5 Hz chronograph, column wheel, vertical clutch. I mean, it's a beautiful
big cinema
mechanic.
on the wrist, even if you wear it the other way around, so beautifully done.
With that detail of the logo in the sapphire ellipse that I adore.
Beautiful, beautiful. So we go on with colors.
Yes. So on the Chrono PF, which is a 42 mm, so it's a more sporty side where we have the rubber collection.
It's also good then we can show the difference in between 40 millimeters and 42 millimeters. It's not much,
but it's present.
For smaller wrists and for a more elegant chronograph, I would say the 40 millimeters are enough.
42 is more...
Yeah, 42 is bold.
It's a bit bolder, and every part of the sport collection is bolder. The bezel is less raised than the PF. This is more elegant, this is more sporty. The crown is different. So you have different nuances, and also the oscillating mass is different because it's more sporty, inspired by the driving wheel of the 60s, 70s.
Looks like an Nardi.
Maybe.
A little bit. Now the steering wheel. Yeah, if you know what an Nardi steering wheel is.
But in those times, many cars were...
It looks like...
It looks like...
Yeah. And is there a name for this color too? It's white, but I'm sure it's not white.
The strap is called tufo.
Tufo.
You know tufo what it is?
No.
Tufo is a sand that you see in the Mediterranean Sea, very white. And the Spiagge di Tufo, the sand beaches of Tufo, are extraordinarily beautiful.
Normally, I'm very much into bigger sizes, but I have to admit that the reduction of size to 40 millimeters really plays well.
It's very consistent with the Tonda PF because
Yeah.
Tonda PF is the sport elegant. You see the micro rotor in 40, the GMT in 40, the chrono in 40. So the PF is 40 or 36 in the automatic.
Yeah.
The only exceptions are the calendars that are 42, which they need a little bit more space. And then you get to the last, which is
Cermet. This is an astonishing material. When I saw the watch in Geneva, already there, just turning the piece a little bit in that light changed immediately its look. You wear it, and depending on what you wear and what light comes on it, the watch adapts.
It absorbs the light and reflects the light in a very powerful way. This is what struck our attention as a brand because it was innovative, it was luxury, because it's not cheap at all, not in terms of cost, in terms of allure. And then it's also very expensive to make because the material is extremely hard, it's unscratchable. To work it and to make the light reflect, we played with 2-3 finishings. So you have either mirror polishing on the lugs, for instance, or you have the brushing on a certain part of the lugs, and then you have the multage, the nodal bezel, that is also a way of playing with the light.
So it was not obvious in the beginning which parts will be polished and
We reflected the philosophy of the case of the PF. So every PF has the same elements which are
Yeah.
polished in the same way.
you didn't change that.
No, we did not change that because we want the consistency of the design of the collection. And to do this, it was necessary to decompose the case in 14 different parts of Cermet because the whole case is done in Cermet. And this is a world premiere. Nobody ever did this.
Pushers.
Pushers, crown, bezel, case back, even the buckle,
yeah.
everything. And it's not done like a container in steel and then you coat it with the Cermet. It's done as a traditional watch in the flesh of the metal. The metal is a composition of atomic element of titanium, 31%, carbon and oxygen make 95% of the metal. And then you have other atoms, the molecules that do the rest. At the beginning, it's like powder. And you choose the powder which is more homogeneous. Then you press it, you compress it hard, you heat it just before melting point, and it shrinks. So it's really a crazy development. And then to make each element of design, it's a specific component to do that because you cannot do two finishing on the same part. And to give you a detail, which is crazy, the bezel is not one component, it's two. So you have the cone, which is polished, and then you have the nodal part, which is on top of it. Just to make that effect. So the cost of this is not so much the material in se, but is the complexity of the design to get to that level. If you do a round case, very simple, it will cost much less, but still it's expensive. It takes 8 hours for one watchmaker to assemble the case.
Is it also Cermet, the dial?
No, the dial is a finishing that we call black or. It's quite conventional in the industry. It's a 9 carat of gold with nickel that gives you this black finishing, anthracite, and then it's brushed vertically. So it fits very well without being mono feeling. No? So you have a bit of contrast, but it fits very well. And then all the collection of the PF Sport is with a panda effect. So you have the counter in blue that are matching the blue Milano, or you have the London grey.
Beautiful, I love it. I'm wearing black, and when I put it on my black shirt, it really changes immediately to be more on the black side. If you take it away in the light, that's magic.
It's very lively. It's intriguing.
Light even also.
It's lighter than steel because of the titanium and the carbon that you have.
Beautiful chronograph. The back side, again, the steering wheel in a Nardi shape. Guido, you call it private
Yes.
luxury. It's something you experience yourself and you share on request with someone that wants to know more.
I think it has to do with the fact that luxury has become a very big business, and this is very recent. If you think about the history of luxury,
It's something completely different.
completely different.
Yeah.
And now it's probably 30 years that the industry has boomed in a way which has become, I wouldn't say mass because we're still serving a very small part of the population. Very, very lucky and wealthy people are able to buy a luxury watch. But the values that push people to buy have evolved in time. No? There's been a sort of access to luxury, and who was already present in luxury moved up in the scale of the product and in the content of the product. To differentiate the audience, not as much about how much money you have, because this is a quantitative aspect that is meritocratic, success, everything. I have nothing against that. But money is not enough to buy taste and education.
True.
When you get to that level of expression, you have people who are not following the obvious and what everybody's buying because they're looking for more personal choices, because they want to affirm their discretion, their understanding, their education. And this has to do with a luxury which is less on the outside and more on a personal pleasure. So you are indulging with yourself, and you're beyond that tipping point in which you are buying because society or fashion or whatever is telling you to buy certain things. You want to be more unconventional, probably less loud, more discreet. So we asked ourselves those values that Michel wanted in his brand, which was understatement and knowledge and competence and independent choices, discretion. No, how would they be in a watch for an offer of today? And the answer is what you're seeing here as a collection. And I think it's important to restate that true luxury is about moving forward excellence. No, that's my interpretation of what luxury is about. I don't like to recopy the past or re-edit the past. And these values are part of an audience that is always searching for distinguishing with taste versus the convention, which is homologation. Pass me this word.
I can add nothing here. It's just perfect what Guido was just saying. I don't know what to say. I'm really thrilled to have these watches in my hands, and I'm very lucky that I came to Fleurier to discover the watches in their best habitat. Thank you for presenting me the watches.
My pleasure.
We will meet, I think, very soon again, because I will follow very closely what you're going to do in the future. People like you are very much needed in this industry, and please entertain us and entertain my audience with new names for colors. Let me just repeat.
Verzasca.
Verzasca.
Morning blue.
Morning blue.
Golden hour.
Golden hour.
Mineral blue.
Mineral blue.
Golden sienna.
And Cermet.
Cermet.
Thanks for watching a video on WatchAdvisor, where the watches are the stars. And Guido Terreni is my superstar today, was my superstar today. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Have fun with the watches.
We will. Thanks, guys, and see you soon back on our channel.
Thanks a lot for watching the video on WatchAdvisor on YouTube. And if you think that this is your channel, please check out our website, watchadvisor.com, and especially our community section on our website to really get in touch with us, to share lots of things. You will get more detailed information about the watch industry, in deep videos. More fun will happen there. So if you're interested, have a look at watchadvisor.com.